Normally, around March in Malawi, the weather pattern is characterized by normal rainfall with moderate conditions conducive for farming and not a life threat. However, on the 13th of March 2023, residents living in most parts of the southern region of Malawi, in Zomba and Chilobwe, were woken up to a shocking turn of events. Thousands of liters of water, rivers formed from nowhere, houses damaged and eventually lives lost. This was the situation on this day. As captured on phones by some local residents, this is a clear image of how powerful and devastating Cyclone Freddy was. With lives being lost, survivors were forced to look for their loved ones using sticks, hoping that at least some bodies can be discovered, mostly women and children. Following the announcements by weather reports suggesting that an unusual weather pattern referred to as Cyclone Freddy, characterized by very intense, powerful and deadly storms that traversed the southern Indian Ocean for more than 5 weeks, was heading to Africa, and Malawi was not spared. On the waking morning of 13th March 2023, Malawi was hit, killing at least over 200 people and displacing more than 60,000 people. Men, women and children in their thousands went missing with no trace or clue to their whereabouts. Families broken and properties worth thousands of dollars all gone to waste in minutes. Malawi's power grid was largely affected after hydro powering stations got damaged, access roads washed away and crops submerged in water. This was a desperate situation for the government of Malawi.
Malawi is in a state of disaster. What Cyclone Freddy has done is to pull us back even when we were trying to rebuild because of past tragedies. And I appeal to the international community to please look at us with such favor because we need help.
The call by the president of Malawi to the international community attracted its neighboring countries, with the New Apostolic Church in Zambia being among the first to quickly respond to this call. District Apostle Kububa Soko, in a circular dated 18th March 2023, called on all New Apostolic Church members to donate various items that could provide relief help to the affected families in Malawi in forms of food items, clothes, kitchen utensils, tents and blankets, among other things. In less than a week, New Apostolic Church members, out of love and sympathy, began making their donations. To have a better understanding of the situation on the ground in Malawi, District Apostle Kububa Soko embarked on a journey to the affected areas in Malawi. From the 29th to the 31st of March 2023, the District Apostle, in the company of District Apostle helpers Robert Nsamba and Arnold Muhango, visited Zomba and Chilobwe in the southern region of Malawi. In Zomba, what was once a vibrant community of farmers now left with traumatizing memories of the Cyclone Freddy. Riverbeds completely flooded, crops all washed away, posing a threat to the human survival. In this area, some families were forced to exhume their loved ones because old graveyards got washed away. With no other option, rebuilding is the only way forward for these locals here. What were once homes now are only rubble of demolished houses. After the flash floods began, we saw the water flowing in our direction. We began packing our belongings and rushed to the nearest shelters. In this road, water was as high as my chest, all the way up to that point. My wife told me that she could hear some rumbling sound we discovered that there was water right here. We found water had started entering our house. That's how we started off to go to the nearest shelter. For 35-year-old Venancio Janza, who was left with no choice but to abandon his house and property and save his family on the day the tropical storm hit Zomba. Around 11 a.m., we found water, a lot of water. We tried to do our very best to remove the water from our house and to save ourselves, but we failed. That's how we also rushed to the nearby school. He lost his property, his house, and all his belongings, and now his hope is in restarting life by picking up and rebuilding. Unlike Venancio and his family, for some, it is a different story altogether. Left with nothing to their name, some women opted to seek for shelter at nearby school shelters meant for school-going children. What is meant to be a temporary situation is proving to be their only option. We do not have any food right now, but so far we are grateful for the tents and the shelter given to us at this school. In Chilobwe, the situation isn't any better than that of Zomba. Chilobwe community is situated on a mountain, making it more at risk of facing mudslides, as was the case when the tropical storm hit this area. District Apostle Kububa Soko and his entourage visited the community to understand what exactly happened here. We are now in Chilobwe here in Blantyre, where bodies have been lost in this area, and till this day some are still being discovered. As can be seen just from where I am here, traces of life can be seen, some books as well as slippers, to show that indeed people used to live in this area. Equally, for these residents here, all they have left is to rebuild what the Cyclone Freddy has destroyed.
That time it was like 1:30. Then we heard a banging noise on the house. Along with the mad, there were like a few people we saved. We saved like a 19-year-old girl and a 21-year-old man. That was 1 a.m. After that, almost 1 hour 30 minutes is when the flash floods, came over. Along with the flash floods, it came over. You can actually see there like stones and rocks and everything else. It came and it hit everybody. But if there was only a mudslide, we could save a lot of people. But just because of the incidents which happened with the flash floods, it's when a lot of people lost their lives. Along there. We would dig him up, just because we have this sense that it was smelly all over. Yeah, we dig him up, and the other one was along the corridor. Just watch your head. We pick up a female, That was a female, her name was Vivian. She used to work in a College of Medicine as a guard, a security worker. We pick her remains here. Yeah.
District Apostle Kububa Soko has described the situation in Chilobwe as disastrous.
Yeah, what I've seen is disastrous. Starting from yesterday in Zomba, looking at human beings there, who are also the images of God. And looking at what they've remained with. They've remained with nothing. And looking at what we've seen today, where people were washed away from their houses and their houses collapsing. In some areas you can't even find evidence that there was a house. So that I know is quite traumatizing. For the victims whose relatives have crossed into the underworld through this unfortunate kind of leaving the world, and as well as those of us who have gone to see the areas. I think it is something disastrous.
Okay. Only a few have been assisted with temporary tents for shelter, while the majority have to rebuild and reconstruct. To some, physical help is indeed needed, but also psychological help to ease the pain of the memories of the loss of their loved ones.
We are scared to stay here, even when it's raining, you see. We are traumatized, you see. We wanted psychological help. We wanted financial help. We wanted even physical help. Look at this mud these people they are digging out. It's our own money, which is coming out of our pockets.
With that in mind, the District Apostle Kububa Soko returned to Zambia to mobilize for donations to be facilitated to Malawi immediately. The New Apostolic Church in Zambia, under the directive of the District Apostle, purchased goods valued at about $28,000, equivalent to about 588,000 kwacha, loaded on 2 heavy-duty trucks. In Lusaka, the church administration office, on behalf of the District Apostle, flagged off the departure of the trucks to Malawi. After 3 days on the road, the trucks finally arrived in Blantyre. Slowly, the trucks got offloaded with what could be someone's only help after the effects of the tropical storm. District Apostle Kububa Soko met with officers from the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, under the Blantyre District Council prior to the donation made. Following the private meeting, which was meant for the District Apostle to understand the situation of the affected families who were sheltered at Lunzu Community Hall Camp, the District Apostle said the New Apostolic Church in Zambia was compelled to join the global community, who responded to the call for help in Malawi by donating not only to members of the New Apostolic Church, but to non-members as well.
We visited these places, some of them, like in Zomba. We also visited Chirobwe here in Blantyre, and we saw that people were devastated. And it was very moving to see that where there were houses, now we could see a river. And there was no evidence of a place having houses earlier before the disaster. And so when we went back, I wrote a circular to the members of the New Apostolic Church, Zambia, Malawi, and Zimbabwe, that there is a problem this side. Let us help our dear brothers and sisters. And that is how members now started donating. The church administration also moved in to buy the mini meal and a few other things. And as I'm talking, the members of the New Apostolic Church in Zambia are still donating. And this is not the end of everything. Maybe in 2-3 weeks' time, we'll have another consignment.
And in receiving the donated materials, Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA District Disaster Risk Management Officer Cosmas Mangoka thanked the New Apostolic Church for its kind gesture and has assured that the donated goods will be given to the intended beneficiaries.
We have the structures on the ground. Right here at Lunzu Community Hall Camp, we have the camp management team, but also have the members of the Area Civil Protection Committee. So these people work together and they make sure that all those beneficiaries, all those affected people, right now we're talking about IDPs, the internally displaced people, who get their share. They have the full list of names of the households that are affected that are here. So they are going to use that list to give them the items to those people.
Lunzu Community Camp alone isn't adequate to shelter all the affected families, and because of this, basic life necessities such as shelter, clean water, food and access to proper sanitation facilities continues to be a challenge. These tents are for now their home. With little or no bed space. Others are forced to build temporary shelters. To solidify the donation, the district apostle then conducted a consolation divine service at Chilobwe congregation, which is located at Chilobwe Mountain, which was the worst hit area by the tropical storms, and he encouraged the members that God is always with his own.
God doesn't hate you.
Mulungu sama kudani ai.
God loves you.
Mulungu ama kukonda ni.
And that's why he created you.
Mchifua chake adakulengani.
Whatever negative things have happened,
ngakale zina chili chonse choipa chingaoneke,
do not represent his hatred towards you.
Ichimene echo chisaimire kupya mtima kwake kamene kukudani inu ai.
God loves you.
Mulungu ama kukonda.
He also loves those of our brothers and sisters who have gone even through this Cyclone Freddy.
Today's message meant a lot to me because it has helped me and instilled a spirit of faith to me that always I have to trust and base my hope in the Lord, that all things happen for the good of the Lord.
The message of today, I've been comforted and it was nice and blessed, and I'm happy to be one of them to attend this service.
The extensive destruction, flooding and temporary rains of Cyclone Freddy have affected more than 1.4 million people in 3 countries. Over the years, weather patterns have changed due to global warming and other contributing factors. Warmer temperatures over time are changing weather patterns and disrupting the usual balance of nature, posing a risk to human beings and all other forms of life on Earth. Our actions to protect the planet by adopting more green and friendly means of energy and a change in lifestyle may alter the adverse effects of global warming. The donation made by the New Apostolic Church today may indeed leave a temporary relief. However, more help is needed to change the lives of the impacted families. Nathaniel Loa, New Apostolic Church News, Blantyre, Malawi.